So can you tell me about this house and how it relates to our family?
Well, the first time we came, there was a root cellar in the backyard and separated from the house. And you would go down into the root cellar and get whatever was stored there, veggies or fruits or root beer. So Grandma Morelda would make root beer and share with people. So Dennis took some of that root beer in his trunk and went to, probably Bear Lake or somewhere with, it was before my time. And they all exploded. And he had a big mess to clean up. And now that Grandma Morelda married Conrad Bell after Asa passed away, he paid for the kitchen. He built on a kitchen, laundry room, and a cover over that root cellar. So the root cellar turned into the basement.
So the original part of the house was this front part and that side room, and not into the...
And the kitchen was my bedroom, or
Okay.
where you're staying. That first bedroom on the right was the kitchen. You could tell in the furnace room, all those cupboards was like a pantry. So when Conrad Bell built on, it was a big kitchen with that great big window. Oh, I love that. Love that kitchen.
So, I love this home. I love how many people have been through this home, the families. It's just such a important part of our family history. So I'm glad we're doing this video in front of it. I think it's really beautiful.
Couples that got married and spent their first, I don't know how long, was Larry and Beverly Winger, cousin of Dennis's. I met her, Beverly, she was a charge nurse. So when I became a nurse's aide, I got to know her as a charge nurse. She was older then and ready to retire. But a lot of people have stayed here, and even according to that history, the picture which shows Brother Griffith, he was a police chief, I believe. And so some people call this the Griffith home for a while because he was here. But that was mostly the Winger home. Winger home, Edwards, Mastiuli, Arevalo.
And when you guys came here, it was to help out with Grandpa's parents?
Yeah.
And his parents?
Yeah, he was still able to help Dennis learn more about the shoe repairing. And so he could get better and better at that. And then Viola had to go into the nursing home when she had another stroke. So I was her nurse's aide while she was there. And then Felix passed away first in 1991, and she passed away in December of 92, the same month as my mother, Helen Preston, passed away. So we did a funeral for Viola here, and then we ran to California and did a funeral for Helen at Forest Hills in Palos Verdes, where my dad was buried.
I think I remember visiting your mom. A really faint memory. But how often do you get back to her gravesite? When's the last time you went and visited your parents?
I've never been to the one in Palos Verdes.
Oh, really? I'll go for you. I'll send you a video.
We go to Whitney once in a while, but not every year.
The tradition of rodeo time and having family come through here is so full of joy.
That is so fun. The neighbors, family, this is a big front yard, and the parade goes right by our house. And for years, Rio Newbold would park his truck right there and give out popsicles. He did it for 43 years. The first part of he did it at the city park with the cheerleaders helping him. But then he moved over here to our driveway, and I loved Rio. I wrote him up in the newspaper, and they put his picture and a story about his giving out the popsicles. He was a locksmith. He was a good locksmith, too. He was a good guy.
How did you get started in writing for the newspaper?
I think it was because of you guys in sports. On the first game I recorded, I went to the Preston Citizen. I said, "Did you record this game that was just probably yesterday or the day before?" They said, "No." I said, "I did. Here it is." And he published it. And he said, "I'll publish anything you give me." So I kept doing that for a while. I don't know how long, but it was so fun. Some people told Dennis, "I like Ruby's rendition better than watching the game."
Yeah, that was really fun just seeing your name in the newspaper, but also reading about the game and how you saw it, like through your eyes. That was always a good time.
I like to do letters to the editor, too.
Yeah.
I used to do a lot of that for if I had a good thought, and they would publish that. That was fun, too. But I don't remember how I got seriously interested in writing. I don't know what started it.
So when did you start bringing your children here because I know my mom would come here for summer and spend their summer break here. When did you start doing that?
I guess as soon as we were settled here, as soon as we moved here. When it was rodeo time, this was the place to be.
Well, I think my mom and her siblings, they talk about just coming here for the summer.
Well, the Arevalo, you girls were here without your mom. The 4 Arevalo boys were here without their parents. And we took all seven of you kids on a trek, Martin Cove trek. And I loved that trek. And when the men went off for the Mormon battalion, and you went up by yourself, you pushed a hand cart up a steep hill. That just gives me such a good feeling watching you go up that hill.
That was a tough activity.
And then if there was, don't forget Napoleon Dynamite, because the whole town was anybody that wanted to could be extras. So Marianne and I were up in the balcony in the top of the auditorium. I want to see the movie again to see if we could see ourselves. And then some Rebel boys were in the front of the auditorium. And the first time you watch that movie, you think it's absolutely crazy. And then it kind of grows on you. And you think, yeah, I know people like that. Yes, that's true.
So as a child, did you have any bad habits that you tried to change? I know you had bitten your fingernails.
I quit biting my fingernails when I was 35 years old. And I'm so happy. And I have fingernails.
Let's zoom in. Can I see your fingernails?
Huh?
Can I see your fingernails? Oh, yeah. Nice. So as an adult, have you had any bad habits that you've tried to change?
Probably.
I recently realized gossip was around me, and I've really tried to change that in my own life.
Yes. I talked to my mother years ago. I was talking about somebody, probably, judging. And she said, those same people are talking about you. That kind of said, well, I don't want to talk about anybody anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you were an athlete growing up, a dancer, performer, daughter, sister. You've lived 87 years of life. Is there at any point that you wished you would have gone one direction, and do you have any regrets about things that you didn't accomplish?
No. When I was dancing, my Aunt Isla was a professional dancer. I thought, I could be a professional dancer. And Heavenly Father gave me rheumatic fever to slow me down and change my direction. So I was in bed for 3 months for my heart to heal, and I was a good patient, and I don't have any problems from that illness. And I was happy to be alive.
Where are all the places that you've lived?
Well, when Dennis and I first got married, we rented a little house downtown Preston. $30 a month. The bathtub and the bed were in the front room. And there was a little kitchen and a little bathroom. But the bathtub and the bed were in the front room. Well, I came home, it was close to my work. I started working on Monday after we got married on Friday, which had a short honeymoon. I worked for Dr. Manson, a typist receptionist. And I came home to lunch, and Dennis had taken some time off It was because this is our honeymoon. He took time off from Douglas, where he worked. So we had some afternoon delight, and on the door was my mother-in-law. So anyway, that was funny. And then my Uncle Bobby owned a place. He lived in the big house, which used to be Grandma Bertha Bell, Hilda Brandt, that I didn't ever get to know because she died before I was born. So he had that house. He had a little house in the back, 1728 Freeze Avenue, Wilmington. I love that little house. So we rented that for $50 a month. Between the big house and that little house, my uncles, Uncle Ray, Uncle Sam, Uncle Curtis, mostly Uncle Ray, they had a river running through it. They had little bridges over. It was a beautiful. It wasn't so many flowers, much as just green grass, and then there was a fireplace. You could walk. You could see through the other side.
Oh, wow.
You could still be on both sides of the fireplace. So my birthday that year was while we were living there. So people came to my birthday. I remember Richard, my brother Richard, was there. Verona and Bill. And so that was in 1957.
And this is all before you had children?
Yeah.
Well,
I got pregnant with Brent, and we went on our thrill honeymoon, and we took Lamar with us because he was supposed to stay at Uncle Ira's in Ogden. So we took little Lamar with us, and he says, "I'm sorry I went on your honeymoon." I said, "No, that wasn't. That was just a trip to meet relatives. The honeymoon was right after we were married." So anyway, we did. We went up, saw all the relatives in Utah and Idaho, and in the fall. But then my brother Richard was getting off of his mission.
Got a lot of cat hair.
I've got cat hairs all over me. Anyways, so, I think I went and got Richard before that birthday party. Okay, so I went with my parents to go get Richard from Denver, Colorado. That was fun. We got to visit some of the people that he had baptized, and they just loved Richard. And I think we went to church probably one time. Anyways, that was when I was expecting Brent. Before with Lamar, we were on our way. We went to Lagoon in Farmington, and I went through the barrels. They're rolling where you can't walk straight through. You have to fall down. Sorry, Brent. I was expecting Brent, and I fell down. And but that was a fun trip, meeting all the relatives.
So you lived in
Wilmington.
Wilmington, and then
Torrance first, then Wilmington. And then my parents gave us a lot. Well, they gave all their children a lot. So in the backyard, Richard's land was sold as land. Ray's lot was a house built behind our house. and sold as a house. Our house was built and we stayed. Raised all 6 kids there. They were all born in Torrance Memorial Hospital. And we stayed right there until we had to come here in 1988 to take care of the folks.
Nice.
I guess.
Yeah. And then you guys kind of did the Bluebird, or is it called Bluebird, where you go around to different families? You went to...
Oh, Laura said, can you come live with us? So we went to Northern California. While she got her master's degree, we lived with 4 little boys for 2 years. And I read Goosebumps to them.
Those are good books.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you there when Bailey was born?
I think we were back here and went back and forth. If we weren't there, we went there right after. Year 2000. We always know how old Bailey is. So she's 25 this year.
Yeah. January 1st? 2000?
Yeah.
What a birthday. That's awesome. Is this your favorite place that you have lived, or did you really love living in Southern California?
Oh, this is my favorite place.
Everyone knows your name. Seems really safe. You know, everywhere you go, people know you.
Being active in the church, you have a church family. Being in the theater, you have a theater family. Go to the library, you find people you know there. Our life is good. I remember friends all over the place. Oh, being a nurse's aide. I either worked with them or they were a patient. Something, yeah. Friends. Now I live in a heritage home. I have a lot of friends there. And it is fun. Good food, good activities. Yeah, good people.